Good evening and welcome to the Tuesday, March 17th, 2020 Lawrence City Commission meeting. Before we begin, I would like to read a statement. I believe the city manager also has a statement after mine. Good evening. I want to take a few moments to comment on the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic that we are facing nationally and locally, particularly since the first presumptive positive case was announced today in Douglas County. As a resident and as a parent, I fully appreciate and understand your fears and concerns for your own safety and for that of your family and loved ones. Rest assured that we are doing everything possible to protect our community. The health and safety of the Lawrence community is our top priority. As you all know, the circumstances related to this pandemic are unique and conditions are changing rapidly. I assure you that my fellow commissioners and I are working with staff to closely monitor the latest information and to work with our community partners to prepare and provide the best service possible for our community. Lawrence Memorial Hospital is one of these partners. They've been busily preparing in case the virus spreads while also working to adapt to the situation and protect their patients. Another of our partners, Lawrence Douglas County Public Health, has been doing an excellent job of working with the Kansas Department of Health and Environment and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to provide up-to-date information to our community. They are the lead for our community's public health, including canceling events and ensuring our best efforts are made in isolating the coronavirus to minimize its spread and impact on our community. I want to remind people of Lawrence Douglas County Public Health's most recent directive, which is based off a statewide order given by our governor, Laura Kelly. Today, the Douglas County Health Officer prohibited public gatherings of more than 50 people in Douglas County for the next 8 weeks to help stem the COVID-19 outbreak. Beyond that, the health officer strongly recommended that there be no public gatherings greater than 10 people for the next 8 weeks. On behalf of this commission and the city of Lawrence, I want to echo that recommendation and urge our community to please follow the advice and guidance of these experts. These recommendations can save lives, and it's up to us to do everything we can to help minimize the spread of COVID-19. There are a number of things we can do together to contain and prevent the spread, and common sense is still our best defense. Stay home if you are sick. Wash your hands with soap and water frequently for at least 20 seconds every time. If soap and water are not available, use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, or mouth. Avoid gatherings, and when you are in a situation with others, practice social distancing by keeping at least 6 feet between you and others. I recommend referring to the experts, Lawrence Douglas County Public Health, the Kansas Department of Health and Environment, and the Center for Disease Control and Prevention for the most current information related to the virus. For city-related communications, we have a COVID-19 webpage available at lawrenceks.org/coronavirus. We are posting news items and other information on this page. Finally, I want to thank staff and our community for doing a terrific and tireless job and for coming together and helping each other. It's what Lawrence does, and it's a reflection of why we love this city and our residents. Stay safe, Lawrence.
Thank you, Mayor Ananda. I want to echo the mayor's sentiments about doing everything we can to prevent the spread of this virus. I also want to give a brief update as to the steps the city is taking to continue to provide excellent core services and to keep our employees and our residents safe. As COVID-19 outbreak continues, our Lawrence community is continuing to show common sense, strength, and remarkable compassion for others. We've seen countless businesses and individuals make sacrifices for the common good, and we thank you for everything you've done to help prevent the spread. We know this is a difficult time, but we're confident that by continuing to work together and showing resiliency, creativity, and flexibility, we will come out as an even stronger community on the other side. As Mayor Ananda shared, we are keeping everyone updated with coronavirus efforts via our dedicated page on the city's website. We hope that this can serve as a repository for any questions or concerns about how the city is continuing to supply essential city services during this time. We recognize that this situation may be causing financial hardships, and we shared an update yesterday about a few changes we're making to add greater leniency for our residents. Most notably, we are suspending utility shutoff for water service for non-pay, and we are waiving all late fees until further notice. We are also suspending parking enforcement for at least the next 2 weeks as we make further updates and changes to city services and continue to notify our community. As we've all said, this is an unprecedented, continually evolving situation, and our safety precautions are being constantly reevaluated and updated. Yesterday, we asked our community to please avoid in-person business with the city as much as possible. Today, we announced that we are officially restricting all public access to city buildings effective tomorrow. Our buildings will remain open to essential city employees only. This decision followed the announcement from Lawrence Douglas County Public Health of a presumptive positive case in Douglas County. This will be a change in operations for many of us, but most interactions with the city can be accomplished by going online, emailing, or calling us. Our website is a great resource, and our teams are ready to assist those who call with questions. We recognize that this may be a new way of interacting, so we are here to help steer you in the right direction. Our top priorities will be public safety and critical public services that must continue to function, such as clean water, wastewater treatment, and solid waste. We do this with the understanding that our team members who do this vital work are vulnerable to the impact of the COVID-19 on themselves and their families. Our efforts to keep them healthy and available for critical service delivery are a top strategic priority, and we ask the public we serve to understand and support any changes you notice in service delivery for this reason. The Lawrence Police Department and Lawrence Douglas County Fire Medical are coordinating efforts with the city and county to develop best practices in how to handle a range of scenarios related to the pandemic while also continuing to provide their regular excellent services. During this time, we ask that you please reserve calls to 911 for emergencies only. You can call the non-emergency dispatch number should you need assistance from the Fire Medical Department, Police, or Sheriff's Office. The number is 785-832-7509. Municipal Services and Operations is diligently reviewing operations and best practices to ensure that our water and wastewater systems are functioning properly and continue to provide Lawrence's excellent drinking water. We remain in close communication and coordination with our governmental, institutional, and community partners on our response, support of community needs, and even how we will move into next steps in recovery in the next weeks and months. It is clear that Lawrence and Douglas County share a great spirit of community and unity that gives us a pronounced advantage as we face this challenge. Please take care of yourselves and each other in our community, and thank you for supporting our community efforts during this critical and unusual time.
Thanks, Craig. At this point, we will move on to approve the agenda. The City Commission reserves the right to amend, supplement, or reorder the agenda during the meeting. Any modifications?
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Larson, second by Vice Mayor Finkeldye. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I will point out that we have Commissioner Bully here via phone, just so that folks are aware. So we will move on to our consent agenda. Please note all matters listed below on the consent agenda are considered under one motion and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on those items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Members of the public wishing to speak to an item that has been pulled from the consent agenda will be limited to 3 minutes for comments. Are there any items that a member of the commission would like to pull from the consent agenda?
No.
None. Okay. Any items that a member of the public would like to pull from the consent agenda? Okay. We have a motion?
I move for approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Finkeldye, second by Commissioner Larson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, passes unanimously. We will move on now to public comment. The public is allowed to speak to any item or issues except those scheduled on the consent agenda or regular agenda portions of the agenda after first being recognized by the mayor. Each person will be limited to 3 minutes for public comment. As a general practice, the commission will not discuss or debate these items, nor will the commission make decisions on the items presented during this time. Rather, they will refer the items to staff for follow-up if necessary. Individuals are asked to come to the microphone, sign in. Please take a pen from the box of pens on the podium and take that pen with you when you use it. And state your name and address. Speakers should address all comments and questions to the commission. Is there any general public comment? Okay. Mayor. We have some general public comment.
I realize that this is a big deal with this virus going around, but you've closed the community center, so we can't take showers. And our eating places are now down to no. We get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and we're grateful for that because we know the virus is a big deal, and we're all scared of it too. But I'd like for y'all to keep in mind that we are humans, and you deserve something, some kind of help being out here. I mean, there's no wireless lines or nothing like that because there's nobody out there. We all understand that, but close the community center, we can't even get clean. And I don't get that. It's not fair. I have a friend where I'd go take a shower at their house, but there's people that can't, that don't know anybody. All right? And there's people that, when they start getting sick, we're making sure they go to the hospital. There's 2 of them in the hospital now, just to make sure that it's not this virus, whatever the heck it is. And that you guys don't forget about us. We're here and we're humans, and we have a right to eat and to be clean. And that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other general public comment? You can take the pen with you. Don't put it back in there, please.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Thanks.
I'm Stuart Luckman. I live on 1515 Engle Road. Just as Susan has briefly touched on, the coronavirus outbreak is going to be a disaster for the homeless population for 2 main reasons. Firstly, because of the City Commission's repeated failure to deal with important issues related towards the criminalization of the houseless that we have raised within previous meetings, and secondly, because of a cutoff on services. The coronavirus outbreak, although pandemic across the world, is going to strike the most vulnerable populations first and the hardest. And without a comprehensive plan to deal with that and to put a positive effort forward to ensure the safety and well-being of the houseless, there will be mass suffering as a result. Let's first start off with the aspect of criminalization. We have been repeatedly calling upon the City Commission to repeal draconian ordinances such as 14417 and 14418, precisely because of situations like these where crises arise. We talked about this in relation to cold weather, where the houseless, because of this criminalization, would be forced into unsafe circumstances. It is the same situation with coronavirus. The houseless will be some of the only people among a low frequency of people outside during this time, given the state of social distancing. That means that they are now prime targets for the criminalization that happens rampantly under the ordinances and just recently with recent enforcement of aggressive panhandling, which hurts their ability to access services. Furthermore, by placing these constraints upon the houseless, it magnifies the impacts of the coronavirus by making it extremely hard for them to legitimately access services, safety, and secure households that they need to weather this pandemic. The City Commission must take firm action against these ordinances with a complete repeal and replace, and they should have done it a lot sooner, frankly. Secondly, the City Commission needs to have a positive, proactive plan to address the services that the houseless require. As Susan's pointed out, there have been multiple closures that are essential for the houseless to maintain their survival. With the closure of community services, this is essentially very dangerous for the houseless, and the City Commission must take concrete, measurable, and immediate steps to ensure very material changes in the plan of provision of services. These can include things such as provision of food, the allowance of shelter, and other necessities that the houseless community desperately needs. If the City Commission is really serious about being proactive about this public health crisis, which it absolutely should be, it needs to focus on the houseless first. And it should take into account what we said throughout all these previous meetings, that the best route forward is not criminalization to push the problem away, but rather to accommodate the houseless and do even more, and always be pushed to do even more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other general public comment? Okay. We have deferred all of the items on our regular agenda, so we don't need any motions in regard to those. Okay. So we'll move on then to commission items.
Do we need to open the public hearing on?
No, that was removed as well. I thought.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. So are there any,
It says action, open public hearing,
and defer until, do we need to continue it?
and defer until April 7th.
We don't have a specific.
We need to continue it.
Continue to, do we?
This is until April 7th.
7th. Sorry,
That's what it says. So
not on,
on item 3,
okay.
then do we need a motion to continue this public hearing? Okay.
I move to open the public hearing and defer until April 7th.
Second.
Is that sufficient? It's a continuance, not an opening.
You have to open it to continue it, and
Oh.
you did both, correct?
Okay.
You did.
Apologies, thank you. Motion from Vice Mayor Finkeldie, second from Commissioner Larson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Was that an aye, Stuart?
Would you restate the motion, please? I didn't hear it.
We're opening the public hearing on item number 3 and deferring it till April 7th.
Aye.
Okay.
Got it.
So we don't need a separate motion to continue it. It was all one motion. Is that sufficient? Okay. Do we need to take public comment on that?
No.
Okay. Thank you. We'll move on.
I'm having a little trouble hearing.
Okay. We don't need to have the motion to continue, so we will move on to commission items. Do any commissioners have future agenda items to add?
No.
Not at this point.
Any future work session items to add?
No.
Okay, I want to note that we will be talking about the ordinances in regard to illegal camping and aggressive panhandling. And I'm not sure what date that is, but that is coming up. Other items, I would like to mention the possibility of allowing public comment to be submitted during this time. I know generally we have folks do it in person, but to allow that to be submitted and attached to the agenda. And I think that we would need to have conversation about, 1, allowing that to happen, and 2, whether or not that would be read aloud for a 3-minute period or what that would look like.
So do you mean people would email or mail in their comments, and then, as you were saying, someone would read them aloud so that they would be entered into the public records? Is that what you mean?
It's enter them and attach them to the agenda as a readable document, or send them as an attachable document to the agenda and read them aloud.
Are you just talking about the general public comment?
General
Just the
public
General
comment,
public hearing?
yeah. So basically the same policy that we have for other agenda items.
Yeah.
I like the idea of allowing people to send it in. I don't think you read it aloud any differently than you treat any other public comment.
Yeah. And just make it part of the package. I think that's fine.
Maybe an in-between would be acknowledging, maybe the mayor would say, we received correspondence from this person, this person, this person. That way, they would at least, there would be some kind of acknowledgement that we read it. I mean, I know that all of us are very diligent in our reading of correspondence, whatever's in the packaging, but sometimes we don't necessarily say, thank you for your comment, thank you for your comment, thank you for your comment. And so then people don't feel acknowledged. Is there maybe some way we could not read their comments out loud? That would take a lot of time, but make some acknowledgement of what we've received, a verbal acknowledgement to people who are watching at home during this extraordinary time.
Thoughts?
Fine with that.
Yeah. That's fine.
Okay,
And we're just talking about given the situation right now.
correct. It's a temporary measure.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Do we need a motion on that? Okay. All right. We just need to let Bobby know.
Right, just so I'm clear, when public comment comes in for general public comment, we'll attach that to the agenda on that section, but we are not reading those aloud, but there will be some acknowledgement of that.
It's my understanding.
When there's correspondence submitted on other items, it'll just be for the general public comment, not related to, and just during this until further notice.
Correct.
Okay.
Are there concerns about that?
Can I just ask one thing? Sorry, Tony. It is sometimes people email us, and they don't necessarily, they're not expecting it to go on in the packet or on the record. Is there some direction we could be sure to give the public? Please direct them to Sherry or Bobby or whoever so that it goes to the exact place that they want it to be.
It would be the same process for submitting comment on any other agenda item.
Okay.
So emailing the commission doesn't necessarily,
Right, that's something
Attached
that's
to the
sometimes
agenda.
unclear to people, I think, and I just wanted to be sure we're always reiterating that with the
Yeah.
public.
yeah, that's great. Was there anything that we needed to know?
I just wanted to make sure Sherry was clear on what the public comment, is it general public comment that you're talking about? And Sherry
Correct.
has that? Okay.
Yeah. And then the rest would just continue as okay. Any other commission items? Thank you, by the way. Stuart, are you okay with that?
Stuart?
We may have lost our connection with Stuart. Okay, well, are there any other items for commissioners?
No.
Okay, city manager's report?
Just draw your attention to the budget calendar, which is coming up, and the only thing I'd talk about generally on that subject is, with these meeting delays, we've got a lot of things that are moving towards the budget adoption, including the strategic plan, which is kind of, we've set up as essential for the direction of our budget. So those are just awarenesses that I'm making in you, and one of many flexibilities that we're going to have to think through of how we go through our budget process and in critical times when we're on schedules and with meetings, so.
I would be open to the idea of adding a meeting if we needed to at some point, given the situation right now.
Okay.
Would we need to do that now just in case, and then if we don't need it?
I think we can maybe kind of this is evolving so quickly that
Right.
maybe wait to see down the road if we
I didn't
need
know
to.
how many weeks in advance we'd have to announce that.
You just have to give notice. There's,
Okay. I
yeah.
didn't know how long the notice was particularly.
One day.
Not very
One day.
long.
Okay.
It can,
We're really looking at the special meeting that you approved for the discussion of the strategic plan is something that's pretty precarious considering that it's not very far away and things are ramping up, not ramping down right now. It's somewhat dependent on somebody traveling here to help facilitate it.
Yeah.
I would stay tuned. I think it's likely that will be rescheduled to a much later date, which then pushes everything back. So it's really, yes, we may need some more meetings, but it's really when can we get started and will we have enough time? So we're really, amongst other things, we're trying to figure out how do we pivot a little bit on this, and it may not be a budget process that looks the same way as we had hoped.
Yeah.
I guess is what I'm kind of warning you of.
Yes.
And there's very little we can do that's in our control to do that.
So any discussion you have about rescheduling strategic planning, or if they're going to maybe do virtual with us, should we talk about that now or talk about that somewhere else, or we're just going to wait and see what you?
Well, I think it's okay to talk about it here. This is kind of why I'm bringing it up. Probably my recommendation, if I had to make it today, is we probably shouldn't try and have it. What I think we are going to try and do is do a little more staff work than we had planned to get it. There's a lot of data. We were extremely successful in our Lawrence Listens process. We received a lot of data, a lot of input, so I haven't seen that yet, but as that comes to us, it'll probably be good for us to spend some time in trying to make sense of it along with the consultants that may help us make up some time, so when we do engage with you, which may be into April certainly, that it may be a little more productive and we'll be a little further ahead. And we still probably are going to need to have some public engagement about, after you give input and priorities about how does the public feel about the work that we've done. So those would be other steps, with all leading to hopefully having these priorities that are bright and clear that help us program a budget that we'll get to you in about a month and a half after that time, or maybe less, which is a lot to do.
Has there been any talk at the state level yet about delaying some of the statutory budgeting deadlines?
I'm not aware of that. They've been pretty busy on a lot of different things, but that would be something we probably should take to the league and ask them if they can start to get some guidance. Although I think they're probably everybody's leaving Topeka pretty soon, so I don't know how much guidance we're going to get on that. But that would be something I think the league should give us some help on.
Other questions? Thanks for your work on that.
Sure, thank you.
Public comment on the city manager's report. Okay, we will move on to the calendar.
Ever-evolving calendar?
Getting lighter by the minute.
So the land meeting's been canceled for the 18th.
They are looking at maybe in the future, not for this month, doing something virtual, but it'll take them some time. Also, the Nehemiah Assembly, I think, was on there in April. I thought it was on there.
It is.
There it is. That's also been canceled.
So was the GARE conference. Do you know if the league conference is?
The league hasn't canceled the conference yet as of today. I looked at that because it was on the city commission agenda for me to go to it, but my guess is that it will not happen. And so I doubt it will happen, but it has not officially been canceled, but I think they've been busy.
Yeah.
Or any ribbon cuttings that we all have, should we just wait to get personal emails from?
That's what I've been getting, notification that they're canceled.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go to St. Louis last week on a conference, and I didn't go to that, even though they didn't cancel it, which really surprised me. So we didn't get our money back. So I'm sorry, but I didn't feel it appropriate to go.
We didn't pay you mileage.
No, you didn't. No, I think Bobby tore the check up. So
I think that was a responsible decision.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I applaud
Better for
that.
your family.
Absolutely.
Definitely better for your family.
Absolutely.
Anything else on the calendar besides clearing it?
no.
Okay. Well, in that case, we are ready to have the motion for the executive session. We won't make Stuart read it this time.
Okay. Approve motion to recess into executive session for approximately 20 minutes to discuss a pending litigation deemed privileged attorney-client information pursuant to KSA 75-4319B2. The justification for the executive session is to keep attorney-client privilege matters confidential at this time. At the end of the executive session, the City Commission will resume its regular meeting in the Commission room.
Second.
Second.
Oh, Stuart got it.
Motion by Commissioner Larson, second by Commissioner Boley. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we'll be back in 20 minutes.
we just carry?
We all got to do what we got to do, so thank you.
New norm.
Yeah, it might be a new norm.
I don't understand.
Okay, so we are back. Do we need to wait the 2 minutes?
We're good?
Okay. We have nothing to report. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second?
Motion by Commissioner Larson, second by Vice Mayor Finkeldei. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you. Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Mayor.